few minutes, guys. We have a lot of you coming into the room. I hope you are all having a wonderful day. Hello. Hello, Elizabeth. And I know we have Catherine and William in the room. Can you tell me who that actually is? I know it's my Radius people.
Hi, Christy.
Okay, perfect. And Lindsay, I just saw we had you join. I'm really excited that everybody's piling in here today. We'll probably give you all just some time to get in here. We are kind of going to start trying to do like a kind of recurring product training over different aspects that we're going to feature, from everything from CDA processes, maybe to our dashboard, to different things, just to make sure as we see a need, we're really addressing it and you guys feel very well equipped to handle these things. So we're just going to kind of let the room fill up today and probably start here in about 5 minutes or so. Lindsay's on the room. I would imagine she's going to be leading us today.
Yes. Hi, guys. I'm going to share my screen. I have like a little high-level one-pager for our CDA process here.
And Lindsay, if you want to give it just a minute, we still have quite a few more jumping in. So before we start like really rocking and rolling, let's give everybody just some time to get in here, get their microphones set up to where they have. If you guys haven't been in a room before, make sure you enable your permissions for your microphone to work. Sometimes you have to enable the video before the microphone just to make sure it works okay. So we'll give everyone just a minute here to get in though. And then Lindsay will kind of start rolling through this and give you guys, a high level overview. We'll probably kind of let her roll through this initially. And then, as we're going through here and afterwards, we'll kind of open it up for questions. Some of the things that are top of mind as we're rolling through this are problems you've seen, problems we've seen, what we can all do to be proactive, and kind of ways to address those things. So just keep that on your mind as we're rolling through here, and we'll get started here in just a minute. I see a lot of friendly faces. Hey, Trey. Hey, Mike. You guys are quiet today. I talk to you guys pretty regular, and I don't think any of y'all are near as quiet when we chat. And Jessica has just joined us as well. Y'all are a very quiet room today. Halloween has just knocked it out of everybody.
Good morning.
There we go. Thank goodness for you, Mike. I needed somebody to break the silence.
Yeah, we are decorating for Christmas because Stacy is ready.
Oh my gosh, this is why I love you guys. I have been planning my Christmas overhaul since last night at midnight. So
yeah, our kids all had the day off today, which is nice. So we already took down Halloween, and now it's Christmas.
I love it. Well, Lindsay, I will put the ball back in your court here. We kind of had quite a few join in right there at the beginning, and it's kind of trickled down a little bit. So as new people come in, I'll make sure to let them in. But if you want to kind of take the reins and guide us through this, that would be great.
Sure. So we're just going to briefly go over the time frames, the expectations, the revision process, and then we have a few improvement suggestions that we think will help both sides of the process. And then we want to hear from you guys, your feedback, what's working, what's not working, what you'd like to see moving forward. So just a reminder that Radius does not issue CDAs sooner than 7 days prior to the close of escrow. So at 7 days out from closing, you're either going to get an email from us that your file is approved and your CDA is going to be issued with you being paid directly at closing from the escrow company, or you're going to get an audit email outlining the items still needed in order to approve that direct payment. And then at 5 days prior to close of escrow, you're either going to receive the demand approval email or you're going to receive the non-compliant CDA email. So at 5 days out from closing, we're issuing that CDA. And if your file is not compliant, then we're going to instruct escrow to send the gross commission to Radius to be dispersed once your file is complete. So in order to get paid directly 7 days out, we expect the following. Sorry, guys. Obviously, your file needs to be compliant and like 90% complete. Obviously, we won't have some of those closing items in before close of escrow, and that's okay. But in addition to your file being complete, we need the file to be submitted on time, an accurate close of escrow date in SkySlope, the commission tab to be complete with like the gross commission amount, a TC fee that needs to be paid from your commission, any splits with your team, any credits you're giving from your commission, any fees that are being paid by the client that will affect your commission. Basically, anything that's going to affect the amount you're being paid should be noted on the commission tab in SkySlope. And then we also need the escrow or closing attorney contact information complete and accurate in SkySlope. So if your CDA is not issued in the appropriate time frame, it's because it didn't organically come through our pipeline, probably because one of these expectations weren't met. So if your file isn't submitted on time, then it kind of glitches our system and it won't come through our pipeline within that 7 days prior to closing mark. When you get your CDA and you need a revision, any revision request made before 3 p.m. Monday through Friday will be handled that same business day. Any request made after 3 p.m. probably won't be handled until the following business day. We're working on some improvements. We want to provide a draft CDA to the team lead and the agent at the opening of the transaction so that if there's any discrepancies or changes that need to be made, we're not scrambling within that 7-day window. You know, we have a lot more time to get everything ironed out. And then we're also going to have the auditor start checking to make sure the expectations outlined here are met in the initial audit. So rather than just looking at the documents uploaded to the SkySlope file and adjusting the checklist, we're also going to be checking to make sure that we have the accurate close of escrow date, that the commission tab is completed, and that the escrow and closing contact information are there so that once we hit that 7-day window, we're not scrambling to collect that information from you. So we went over timelines, expectations, the revision process, improvements we think will help the process. Now we want to hear from you guys. What can we do? Do you have any questions? What would you like to see from us?
They're super quiet today.
Well, I'm fairly really green, so I don't really have any feedback or anything constructive to provide. It just I'm really glad you guys are hosting this.
But when you think about those changes that come in last minute to a file, what is the best case scenario to work on those real last minute kind of 11th hour changes? I know it's something that our agents feel like, you know, their hands are tied on a lot of times, and you kind of talked about the flow and things, but like what's best practices when we do have those last minute changes, and what can our agents expect?
I would say best practice would be to just let us know as soon as you know, like, hey, just a heads up, we have like some unique situation with the lender and I might have to credit some of my commission, I'll let you know the final amount. That way I know, like, it's on my radar. This CDA might need a revision. Before I kind of finish tying up my loose ends of the day, I might follow back up with that agent, like, hey, where are we at? Do you have the number yet? Let's get the CDA out as soon as we can. That's also one of the reasons why we don't typically issue a CDA prior to 7 days out from closing, because we figure, 5 to 7 days out, all of those last minute changes, credits, negotiations have been squared away. But I mean, we totally understand that things happen and that's not always the case. So just be transparent, be communicative with the team so that we can get those changes made as soon as possible.
In addition to that, we have several of our team leads on the phone. Is there anything specific to our team leads where it concerns like their team agents and making sure, splits are in there correctly, or anything when things change that you feel is pertinent?
I do feel like that's a good thing to point out, Christy. Thank you. Is that we always have the team lead sign the CDA prior to it going to the team agent. So the team lead has that first chance to kind of review the split and make sure that's accurate. And then it would be really beneficial if the team lead could quickly glance into SkySlope and just quick.
So we recently, and for most of you on the phone probably know this, but just to even give a little bit more clarity, and if you said this, Lindsay, and I mentioned it, I may have spaced out for a second, so forgive me, but one of the things that's really exciting for us right now, and Jessica, you're on here, so if you want to add to this, feel free, is that we have recently, you all know we've been using SkySlope for our transaction management services. We've sent you kind of information and been able to update you guys about adding on Skybooks in addition to SkySlope to really kind of streamline our CDA processes. We've been really excited about this, and trying to just up-level the entire experience with you at Radius through that process of your transactions. With that being said, there are changes moving to Skybooks that have changed a little bit and should make this process smoother. Are there any of those main changes or anything that our agents would see, Jessica, that you think we need to point out here?
The only thing that you're going to see on your end is going to be the formatting of the CDA. So you'll see that it is changed, and it's because we're using the template that's provided by SkySlope Books. So hopefully over time, SkySlope Books will allow us to make some changes to the template itself and kind of make it our own. But for now, that's the only thing that you're seeing on your end. Us being able to move to SkySlope Books has been a huge improvement for our internal process, because we basically removed that human error aspect. There was a lot of manual work going into the CDAs before, using this automated software. So we completely removed that, that aspect of the process, that human error aspect, and everything is automated. It's all tied into SkySlope. They're all under both, the softwares are under the same umbrella of ownership now. And we're really excited moving forward. And SkySlope actually just acquired SkySlope Books. They bought it, the software from Zippy. So they're just getting started. And we're really excited to see, as they, get their footing and as they grow, the different options and services they're going to offer us. So we're excited to see, what's to come and more improvements on the internal process up ahead. So yeah, but for now, the only changes you should see is just no more human error, and then also the formatting itself.
Couple things I like about SkySlope Books that completely game changed our process, completely improved our process, is that we now have a centralized location to store the agent's payment information. So each agent has their profile, their payment information lives there, and it's automatically applied to the CDA when that time comes. If they need to change or update their payment information, we do that. In books now. So rather than manually calculating the splits and percentages and whatnot, we just like built out a template for that agent, and SkySlope Books automatically calculates all of that stuff for us. So like Jessica said, like there's no more room for human error.
And just to let you guys know, before building out the different like split plans in SkySlope Books, Lindsay swept each and every single ICA too. Look through every ICA to make sure that all the information is correct. So the process doesn't live across several departments anymore. Like we completely took ownership of it and then made sure all the accurate information was moved over to books.
Does anyone have any questions so far, or is there anything that we can dive a little bit deeper into that we haven't covered that you feel like would be beneficial? The dog is the only response that we're getting here, and I think that's Jessica's, so I feel like we're good there. And that makes me feel like you guys are feeling really confident with our processes, which makes me extremely happy. These times are kind of designed for you to give us any feedback. So the good, the bad, the ugly, we're all ears to whatever you've got. Don't feel like you have to have a question. If you don't, that's totally fine. We just want to make sure that you guys feel well equipped to work through these processes with us and have the opportunity to jump in here and be a part of these trainings and overviews. That way we can make sure we're all really, really aligned. So yeah, we can kind of open it up for questions if there is any. If we have a moment of silence for CDA processes, that is totally fine too.
A moment of silence it is.
Yes, we are just going to take a moment and acknowledge all those CDAs out there.
And by the way, it wasn't my dog.
Oh, that wasn't you?
My dog's a yapper. She's like a 5-pound yapper.
How funny. She would have a little bit more of a yippy bark. Well, I have big dogs and they're outside, and for right now it's kind of nice today, but Texas is taking
Christy, San Diego weather is, I can't complain, but it's often we experience all 4 seasons in one day. It's like
yes.
30 degrees this morning and 85 by 1 o'clock.
Yeah, it's not really as big of an issue except for whenever it comes to like getting up and getting dressed for the day. It's almost you need to dress in layers because you're like sweating by 4 o'clock or you're freezing to death. You don't ever really know what you're going to get.
I feel yeah. I think those are my neighbor's dogs also.
I did just notice too that we even have a couple of our TCs on here. So, and I think I see Pega is on here. I know you do a lot of the TC work for Together. I would just tell you as well, if there's anything that you've came across as you're working through those, like now is the perfect time to ask any questions or even provide feedback. If there's something, that you're seeing that maybe we're having an error in the same place and it's kind of come to your attention like, hey, on every file, I'm seeing this. What do we need to do about that? Like now is like the perfect time. You have the right audience. Jessica and Lindsay are definitely the pros in this area. So if you do have those questions, maybe not even on your own files, but on somebody you're TCing for, feel free to ask now as well. Okay, well, this makes me excited for all the things to come, because I feel like this means our CDA process is just going phenomenally and everybody feels really confident here. So I am really glad that you guys were able to join us. I know we always love getting into a room with you guys, regardless if it's talking about the business side of things. How do you feel about things like this? Is this the right place to give you this information? Do you like the idea of us, doing these every so often on different aspects of the business? Give me your feedback. Let me know what you think is working and isn't working, and we'll make sure that we move forward accordingly. Jessica and Lindsay, do you guys have anything to add? Have we missed anything as we're going through this that you guys can think of?
I know people are kind of trickling off. We want to hear what we can do to make it better. If you want to email us, please do. We're open to suggestions here.
Yeah, and we definitely appreciate, your patience and moving forward through us as we've been working through what I call some of our growing pains through these processes, implementing new software. Our goal is to continuous up level the experience you have with, and and making these improvements. Any and all feedback is always welcome. Feel free to come to myself directly or any of us, and we look forward to many more of these. Thank you guys for being here today. Thank you. Special thank you to Lindsay and Jessica for being here to answer your questions. I know this takes time out of your day, and we very much appreciate it. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their Wednesday. Thank you.